of the world. Today on Marketing as a Foreign Language, Pinterest stock prices. LinkedIn is testing a new status option to help keep connections updated on what you're up to. Facebook adds Wikipedia knowledge boxes in search results. Facebook looks to prompt more comments with new comment engagement stats. Facebook Messenger can now be used as a way to answer customer messages. Google finds over 25 billion spammy pages every day. Navigating the road ahead, the benefits of real-time marketing. This is Marketing as a Foreign Language. Oh me, oh my. Gaze upon the Pinterest stock prices. Now, I know everything kind of plummeted for a minute there. Here we have a low on May 13th of $16 up to $22. The reason I mention Pinterest stock prices here is because the more I read about Pinterest, the more I am excited about what they're doing. On yesterday's show, we talked about how you can take a picture and it'll pull up a bunch of similar items. The items we talked about yesterday were lamps. And so something about Pinterest screams to me that they are on their way to making a tremendous amount of money. This, of course, is subject to reality. So here we've got $34.50 at their height in August of 2019, all the way down to $12 on March 20th, and now hovering around about $22 here, June 10th. I like Pinterest. I think they're doing great work. I think with Google artificial intelligence, understanding images more and more and more, the backlinks from Pinterest are going to be valuable. I think that there are going to be a ton of companies that are going to see a lot of value from that particular social media platform. LinkedIn is testing a new status option to help keep connections updated on what you're up to. LinkedIn is testing a new current status option, which would enable users to share what they're up to at any given time with a one-line summary that would appear in different services within the app. LinkedIn, I think, is trying to get people onto the platform, obviously, and keep them there. This reminds me of a very Facebook-esque sort of thing. Why would you spend more time on LinkedIn? Perhaps it's because you realize that it is a bit more fluid. As you can see in this example shared by reverse engineering expert Jane Manchun Wong, the current status field allows for 75-character summary, which would then be displayed when people hover over your profile within the app. LinkedIn has confirmed the test providing Social Media Today with this statement, quote, "We're always exploring new ways to improve our members' experience on LinkedIn, including features to help best represent themselves on their LinkedIn profile and with their LinkedIn community." Here's the deal. My wife is a video game recruiter, so she recruits engineers who build video games, the artists that create video games, the directors, etc., for a company called Digital Artist Management. And she spends almost all of her time on LinkedIn. People are making money on LinkedIn. They are earning excellent compensation for their time using this platform, and it ain't going nowhere. Facebook has also been working on status indicators, most notably within Instagram's Threads app, which it launched last October. A key element of Threads is its status options, which enable you to showcase what you're up to at any given time. Okay, so we're just trying to make these platforms a bit more fluid. Facebook is no exception. LinkedIn is no exception. Facebook adds Wikipedia knowledge boxes in search results. Facebook's looking to add an extra level of insight to certain search results. I remember when I was teaching and everyone said, you can't use Wikipedia, you can't use Wikipedia, you can't use Wikipedia, and now Wikipedia is dominant. Facebook's looking to add an extra level of insight. Several users reporting a new knowledge panel type display for some queries in the main app. As you can see here in red, we have a knowledge panel that just appears. This appears to be taken directly from a Wikipedia article. I love this integration. I think it's fantastic. I'm for it. As you can see in this example posted by user JC Van Sigel, The new panel displays a summary of key information from Wikipedia, including biographical info for people and a link to any official Instagram account, along with a display of related entities. I think the main argument against Wikipedia was, oh, anyone can go in and change it. It's not a trusted source. Until, we realized collectively that the internet is just that. Trusted sources on the internet are incredibly hard to come by. Just because you're a major news publication on the left or the right does not mean that you are, cherry picking facts. It is incredibly hard to find balance in 2020. And Wikipedia is actually quite an interesting scientific experiment on whether or not crowdsourcing information will result in a more fact-driven narrative. My sense is that it does, but perhaps this is something that we should investigate. It's almost like ongoing, consistent peer review is what it feels like to me. Anyway, here's another example shared by user Julio S. You've got Silvio Berlusconi. Oh my goodness, look at the Berlusconi. Looking good, Berlusconi. The addition is very similar to Google's knowledge panels, which it launched back in 2012, and are also largely populated by Wikipedia info. Well, there you have it. Google trusts Wikipedia info. Knowledge panel listings can serve various purposes, including providing contextual insight, keeping users on platform for longer, and for those that have them, adding more authority to your presence. I love it. I absolutely love it. So according to Facebook's estimation and Google's estimation, Wikipedia information is trustworthy enough to integrate seamlessly into their platform. What a cool partnership. I'm for it. In Facebook's case, it could help to highlight questionable information. This, of course, also helps them dodge a bullet. So if Facebook is able to say, oh, we are going to have this Wikipedia information, so don't come back on us, Congress. If I'm Zuckerberg and I'm testifying in front of Congress and they're cranky that there was misinformation on Facebook, and I can say, well, actually, we're pulling from Wikipedia, a crowdsourced information, hub, let's say, then Kyle, turn off your phone. Kyle chugs Monster Energy drink. He is a problem student. More on Kyle later. It may also serve as a fact-checking tool for other terms outside of notable identities. If you look up 5G, for example, and Facebook highlights a Wikipedia link, that could help to connect people with more credible research information on the technology, as opposed to simply displaying a list of the most shared posts, blah, blah, blah. So, Facebook and Google trust Wikipedia. There you have it. They're going to introduce knowledge graphs into the right-hand side of some searches. I am for it. I think it is smart. Facebook looks to prompt more comments with new comment engagement stats, as everybody is probably aware by now. Engagement boosts reach on Facebook, and comments in particular can have a big impact. It really is a comment game in 2020, in the same way that a click to your website from a bot is meaningless, but someone coming to your website that is actually interested in your product or service clicking on a number of pages. All of these things obviously are measured and matter. Prompting discussion will then signal to Facebook's algorithm that more people should see that post. Yes, as they might also want to join in and share their thoughts on the same. Facebook really doesn't have too many indicators of whether or not someone is enjoying a post. I mean, really, at the end of the day, there's hover time, there's whether they click on it, there's whether they comment, there's whether they share, and that's, you pretty much nailed it. And so comments, obviously, huge. You can't really beg for comments and expect to get them. And so if I am Facebook, I am clearly giving that a ton of points in the algorithm. And then, of course, you can judge the nature of the comment itself. How related is it? Is it very general? Oh, great post, that kind of garbage. Where does the comment come from? A real person. Does that person post real comments? Frequently, Facebook outlined this specific element of its newsfeed algorithm back in 2017, noting that, quote, if a post from a page is getting a lot of engagement, we can understand in real time that the post might be temporarily more important to you, so we should show you that content. This is all obvious information. So comments are important. Yes, getting people talking about your post can play a key role in maximizing reach. Yes, and now Facebook is looking to highlight to some page managers just how important that specific engagement can be with comment insights. This I like. As you can see here, it says comment insights compared to link posts from the last 28 days that you haven't commented on. 101% increase change in reaction, 14% increase change in post impressions. Interesting. Your comments are popular. your comments. Interesting. As you can see in the screenshots shared by social media expert Matt Navarro, Facebook is now looking to highlight the exact impact that your personal comments on a post can have on subsequent reach and engagement. Ooh. So, if you are a celebrity, clearly your comments have a huge impact. What can you do perhaps then to advertise your personal brand? Is leaving comments the new way to gain attention? Is this excellent new form of advertising something that will grow? I can't imagine that it wouldn't. Now, if I am a musician and I bop around Facebook and I leave comments all the time, now there's actually stats that I can use and perhaps draw a line, a causation line, a cause-based line, not simply a correlation between the number of comments I am leaving and the growth of my particular Facebook page, as displayed in the second image above. When you tap through to see more insights on the impact that your comments have had, Facebook will show you a percentage figure related to how many more reactions and impressions your posts have achieved when you've added a comment based on data from the last 28 days. I love this. It's also interesting timing. Facebook's Q2 performance report will take into account the months of April, May, and June with the averages published based on user stats. Now I'm bored. All right, so comments now being measured in Facebook. For it, I vote yes. Facebook Messenger can now be used to answer customer messages. Businesses can now use Facebook Messenger to respond to messages sent by customers. Oh, Matt Southern. Look at Matt. Look at that profile. My God. Facebook is rolling out an update to Messenger that will allow page owners to toggle back and forth between personal messages and customer messages. Okay, business owners can finally respond to customers from the same app they use to communicate with friends and family. In Facebook, if I recall correctly, the time you spend responding to someone on Facebook is measured, and I believe it's even publicly displayed in the business profile, which is to say, you definitely, if you're on your personal, want to see if someone is leaving a customer message, and apparently this new update to Messenger allows page owners to toggle back and forth between personal and customer messages. This will go horribly wrong. There will be people that will be like, sup, dude, and then they'll go, oh, oops, you're a customer, my bad. So that's the negative. The positive is that you are more likely to see when a customer is leaving a scathing review of you on Facebook, and you're able to quickly respond to it, or they have a question. What are your business hours, which they could easily spend 0.6 seconds on Google finding out, and yet they have decided to communicate with you via Facebook. Business owners can finally respond to customers from the same app. The ability to toggle back and forth between different inboxes allows businesses to respond quickly without having to open another app. That's good. That's smart. Long time coming. All incoming messages are now conveniently grouped together in the same app, but they're still separated enough to prevent businesses from accidentally responding to a customer from their personal account. Yeah, they're not though. Because of human error. When responding to messages, the business owner can choose whether they want to respond as themselves or as the business. This is a recipe for disaster. This should be a worthwhile upgrade to the workflow of business owners. As Facebook says, over 90% of business page admins already use Messenger to chat. Okay, at the end of the day, be cognizant of which account you're signed in to. Fast replies equal happy customers. This is obvious. Not replacing the Page Manager app. Okay, we get it. No new information here. Google finds over 25 billion spammy pages every day. Google published its annual web spam report, which quantifies the results of Google's spam fighting efforts in 2019. Again, from Matt Southern, the leader, the thought leader, Mr. Southern. Google's efforts to keep spam out of search results are detailed in the company's annual web spam report published today. According to the report, over 99% of Google's search results are spam-free, and the company goes to great lengths to keep it that way. There was a time in the SEO world where you were supposed to create infinite amounts of content, and the quantity of content that you created and the quantity of backlinks that you created were supposedly enough to drive the link signals to the page in question, jumping it in the search results. And there were countless black hat methods to do precisely that. I have fallen out of touch with that sort of black hat world. The modern equivalent, I imagine, would be fake Facebook accounts, fake Instagram accounts, fake likes on social media, this sort of thing. It always ends poorly. If you buy likes on Facebook, say 1 million, like a client I had, and they were just thrilled with their 1 million Facebook likes, every post that they put out there had 1 like on it. This, of course, is because when you create a post and the algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, sends it to, let's say, 15 of those 1 million likes that you have, 999,995 of which are fake, those people aren't going to react. They're not going to hit the like button. They're not going to comment, which is to say that your posts will never, ever be seen by anyone. And how do you clean that up? How do you go back in time and get rid of 1 million likes from bots? It's bad. Whatever current iteration of that, whether that be likes on Instagram, or fake comments or fake shares, it never ends well. And the people that are doing this are not long-term business-minded folks, which is to say they want your money now. That's the end of the story, and they're going to move on. Quality is annoying. Quality takes perseverance. Quality is the only path forward every time. For instance, Google's web spam team discovers 25 billion spammy pages every day, which are filtered out of Google's search results index. That's a lot of spam. Oh my gosh, look at this quote. That's a lot of spam, Google says. I didn't know Google could say anything. And it goes to show the scale, persistence, and the lengths that spammers are willing to go to. This is from Google, actually, the spiritual animal that is Google. Not a person, not a representative of Google, but actually Google says that's a lot of spam. So you really should believe it because Google's telling us that. Here are more highlights from Google's web spam report, which show the company's efforts to stay ahead of spammers, how Google fought web spam in 2019. Google received nearly 230,000 reports of search spam in 2019 and was able to take action on 82% of them. According to this report, the company attributes this in part to improving the spam fighting capabilities of its machine learning systems. Every single conversation moving forward until we take our final breath in this particular incarnation is going to include the words machine learning, AI, always coming back to this. It's what's going to get in between Trump and Facebook in their fight, and Twitter. It's going to be machine learning that comes in, and everyone's going to defer to the AI machine and say, well, actually the AI, which is smarter than all of us combined, came up with this conclusion. It's not us, it's the AI. It's not us. In the same way that we can say, well, you're not going to win a game of chess against the best chess computer. It's not going to happen. You're going to lose. It is better than you. It will always be better than you. Game over. Yet people still play chess. This is the nature of the human condition, which is to say, spam fighting, machine learning, not surprising. Quote, our machine learning solutions combined with our proven and time-tested manual enforcement capability have been instrumental in identifying and preventing spammy results from being served to users. Google spam fighting victories. Google spam fighting efforts managed to keep user-generated spam at bay, which was reduced by 80%. That's a lot in 2018 and did not grow in 2019. Machine learning is taking over. Link spam remains popular. Of course it does. This is to say people are creating thousands of links, pointing them back to a website, hoping that increases rankings in Google, and or they're simply creating 2 or 3 links, but they're trying to either hack into a website to add those links, or find ways to increase the authority of a website and then use that as a link. Let's see. Hopefully we're still getting smooth streaming. I just got an alert from YouTube saying that it perhaps is not, so let me know in chat if we're getting a couple errors there. Quote, more than 90% of link spam was caught by our systems, and techniques such as paid links or link exchanges have been made less effective. Let's be clear. Google has a ton of incentive to not allow websites to sell links. I want to be very clear on this. Google makes over 70% of its revenue on something called Google Ads, which is simply selling links. So the last thing Google wants you to do is to communicate with other human beings and find ways to get links to your websites, and heaven forbid, money be exchanged. Google hates that because what it essentially does is put a competitor in the arena. Google does not want you to buy and sell links, which I think will eventually come to a head. I think we'll come to a point where this will perhaps even make its way to the government in the form of a policy of some sort, which is to say, does Google have the right to not allow us to buy and sell links? Are they allowed to penalize us? At the end of the day, if you're a local plumber and you want to buy a link from someone else from their website, if Google catches you buying that link, then it's illegal in the sense that they are going to reduce your search visibility, and search visibility in 2020 is not some cute thing that you sort of kind of need. It's like the internet. For many businesses, we just got a report from one of our personal injury attorneys. I want to say 85% of his revenue comes from search results. And he's not allowed to buy links. And so Google notes the progress it's made to fight spammy sites with auto-generated and scraped content. Auto-generated and scraped content is garbage. Never ever move in those directions. It is always going to end poorly. These sites typically engage in behaviors that annoy or harm searchers. This is absolutely true. Examples include sites with deceptive elements such as fake buttons. I hate those. Overwhelming ads. Obviously, suspicious redirects and malware. Google was able to reduce the impact of search users from this type of spam by more than 60% in 2019. I don't really see it nowadays. I don't know if you're seeing it. I don't know if you want to hit that like button. Just throwing it out there. I actually recommend against it. The main reason is the last person who hit the like button actually ended up getting the sniffles. So you do run the risk of getting the sniffles if you do that. Webmaster outreach. Lastly, Google touts its webmaster outreach efforts as it relates to spam fighting. When Google detects spam, it alerts the site owner via Search Console. Google Search Console, if you don't have it on your website, you'll want it on your website. It's free like Google Analytics, and it provides you the most information that Google is going to give you about your website that Google gives out to business owners. Okay, I think we're done with that particular article. Navigating the road ahead, the benefits of real-time marketing. Jerry Disher, vice president of the ads platform, this is coming directly from Google. Changes in consumer behavior have always resulted in adjustments to marketing strategies. COVID-19 has shown how quickly consumers' interests, expectations, and purchasing behavior can shift, and with it an ebb and flow in demand for products, etc. Get the most out of your budget. As conditions change, so do auction dynamics. So this is to say the real estate market is going to dramatically change, according to this guy who has two thumbs. And so it is obvious to me that we're going to see massive changes in pay-per-click. I think this summer is actually going to be the summer of pay-per-click. There are a lot of businesses that are suffering now, and they're going to get to a point where it's not a question of do I have to? Rather, it is a question of do I have to? Do I simply need to spend the money now? Businesses have PPP money in the bank, and I think there's going to be rising costs this summer, rising costs for pay-per-click. This influences things like location, mobile browsing habits, conversions, and other variables that impact ad performance. It's in this constant sea of change where smart bidding can help. Okay, tell me more about smart bidding. Google Smart Bidding. Also available as Google Ads Auction Time Bidding in Search Ads 360. How many people were in the room when they came up with Google Ads Auction Time Bidding in Search Ads 360? That is a ridiculous name. Also, shout out to, who was that, Lanaja in chat? She got the sniffles. She hit the like button, and unfortunately, she did end up getting the sniffles. So there is a correlation between hitting the like button and getting the sniffles. Shout out, of course, to Let It Rain for hopping into the chat room. Much appreciated. Much love. It's important to note that unpredictable changes in conversion rates, for example, shifts in conversion cycles, cancellation, or return rates are challenging for any bid automation tool. This is jargon. Here's the deal. If you're running Google Ads and you're not paying attention to whether or not the cost per click is going up, you might find yourself paying 2 times or 3 times as much for the same keyword if you just don't pay attention. So if you're hiring a pay-per-click company, you may want to say, hey, look, I know things are crazy right now. What's our cost per click on our main keywords? If you're a local plumber, you can say, what is plumber Las Vegas costing us right now. Maybe it went from $8 to $5. Maybe it went from 8 to 12. You want to know that because maybe maybe commercial plumber Las Vegas is now down from $12 to $9. Being aware of the rise and fall of the cost per click is incredibly important. So, today, Pinterest. Oh no, Levi McCormick's in chat. Ooh, I don't know if you guys know about Levi McCormick, but you should check him out on LinkedIn. That's McCormick. He is perhaps the greatest cloud engineer developer in the history of all clouds, whether they be Cumulus or Marshmallonicus. It really doesn't matter specifically what kind of cloud we're talking about. Like a Google Cloud, it really doesn't matter. He's got it covered. Levi McCormick, shout out to you in chat. Pinterest. I love me some Pinterest. I think with their new technology of taking a picture and pulling up products that can be purchased and similar products, perhaps even the product that you're talking about. That, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is something that may jump their particular stock price. Keep an eye on Pinterest. I am a big fan, not only for that reason, but also because we've backlinked, we've earned tens of thousands of links from Pinterest. Why is that? Because people on Pinterest are very willing and able to share images, much more so than hitting the share button on Facebook. LinkedIn is testing new status options. This is to say that LinkedIn is on fire as far as I'm concerned. As I mentioned earlier, my wife makes a ton of money on LinkedIn. Shout out to Lanesia Kautzman. And she primarily works on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not going anywhere. They've carved out their niche. A friend of mine, Jim Rossi, has many hundreds of thousands of followers on LinkedIn. And they are a powerhouse. They're trying to get you to stay on the platform. I think LinkedIn, for many business owners, is a place to go to advertise. But at the end of the day, they may not be spending the number of minutes on LinkedIn as they would typically on Facebook. That is obviously something that LinkedIn is trying to change. And with this new status option, we have just one more step in that direction. Facebook adding Wikipedia knowledge. Again, when I was a teacher and people were giving me grief for using the Wikipedia information, I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. And here you have both Facebook and Google using this particular information on their website, embedded, in fact, which is to say that crowdsourcing information in 2020 makes a lot of sense to me. I appreciate it. Also, of course, Kyle's one of my students. He's in the Marketing as Foreign Language class. He refuses to turn off his phone. Kyle drinks only Monster Energy drinks, and he is not well behaved. So there's your update on Kyle. So Facebook looking to prompt more comments with new comment engagement stats. This I love. I'm for it. According to Levi McCormick, LinkedIn is like Facebook 2012. Huge organic reach. All the reach, best reach, greatest reach. Facebook looking to prompt more comments with new comment engagement stats. I absolutely love this. If I am an influencer, if I want to push the envelope in regards to my reach on Facebook, and I can see the percentage reach of my particular comments in Facebook, and it can be quantified, which is to say 101% change in reactions, this sort of thing, then I am a happy camper. Okay. Facebook Messenger can now be used to answer customer messages. This is good. Business owners are going to screw this up. They're going to accidentally respond to their friend with a business message and vice versa. But it's about time that Facebook makes it very easy for business owners to respond to increase that response time for Facebook. Wrapping up, Google's finding over 25 billion spammy pages every day. Yes, they are. Do not engage under any circumstances in anything that makes your gut go, makes you go, because in the end, I've had to clean up countless times these ridiculous antics from previous providers. Many times you can't actually clean them up. There was a tool that Google gave us a while back where you could manually go in and say, I don't want these links pointing back to my site. Of course, this didn't work. We would spend hours and hours and hours. We would clean up these websites, but all we were really doing was working for Google for free, telling them which websites they should check out in regards to spam. And in the end, Google simply did not give us the benefit of the doubt, which is to say, quality in 2020 is streaming, quality is video creation, quality is growing a following, quality is being willing to be the face of your brand, quality is getting out there and trying to grow people that want to listen to you, which is to say, blogs are not just words, they are videos, they are photos. Get to work. And last but not least, the benefits of real-time marketing. If you are working with a pay-per-click company, you definitely need to understand to become fluent in the reports they're sending to you. You definitely want CallRail. If you are a business that receives phone calls, you want to be able to listen to the calls that are being generated. You want to know if they're a first-time caller or not. You want to know how much you paid for those phone calls. If you're doing this yourself, you definitely need to know what CallRail is if you're a business that receives phone calls. And you need to understand that these auctions are wildly variable. They change dramatically. One of the easiest ways to get moving in the right direction, again, if you're a business that wants to receive phone calls, would be to run call-only ads. And then last but not least, demographic targeting is actually something that Google is rolling out. So Google ads are actually starting to look a bit more like Facebook ads in that discovery ads with Google can be based on income, age, hobbies, etc. Oh me, oh my, has it been 30 minutes already? It sure has. Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Love you, proud of you. Do your homework.